Hello there, and thanks for joining us for our latest Me vs Maths tutorial on finding angles using the cosine rule. If you've watched the previous tutorial in this series, you will have definitely already met this, the cosine rule, and we've already used this to find missing sides. Just as when we used the sine rule, we had a different version to find angles, there is a different form of the cosine rule that is more efficient for finding angles. But it is quite difficult to arrive at. Let's see how we can put this into a better form for finding the angle part by rearranging the cosine rule. We want to start by making the angle part positive, because at the moment the angle is attached to all this. We need to actually make all this part positive, so let's add 2bc cos A to both sides. We now have 2bc cos A in a positive state on the left hand side, as well as still the a squared. All we have now on the right hand side is b squared plus c squared, as the original minus 2bc cos A has been cancelled out. Let's eliminate the side a part now, the a squared, by subtracting that from both sides. All we have now on the left is 2bc cos A, and on the right, b squared plus c squared minus a squared. At this stage it may look like we have a lot left to do, but actually we're nearly there. The 2bc is multiplying by cos A, so to eliminate the 2bc we need to divide by this part. This gives us cos A, which is actually how we'll leave it, is equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared, all divided by 2bc. If you're the kind of person who can do these things, I would suggest you try and memorise this form, as it's much easier to use and you don't want to have to do everything I've just done there to rearrange the standard cosine rule. Let's take a look then at how we use this version of the cosine rule. We're being asked to find angle BAC. Remember, this means the angle at A made by lines from B and C. You can see it's actually marked on the diagram. We should be comfortable by now labelling up the sides, and we have our alternate form of the cosine rule ready to go, so let's substitute in what we know. Cos A will be left as it is for now, but we can now substitute everything on the right hand side. B squared plus c squared minus a squared. Let's replace that with our values, 3.4 squared plus 5.7 squared minus 6.3 squared. This is divided by 2bc, so 2 times 3.4 times 5.7. We're now going to work out everything on the right hand side, which will give us a value for cos A of 0.112487. I don't want to round that much, if at all, at this stage. This is the value of cos A, so to find angle A we need to use the inverse cos function. If you do so, then round it off, you should get 83.5 degrees. Just one more example. This time we've not been given the friendly A's, B's and C's. As we've discussed in many of our advanced trig tutorials, there are different ways to deal with this. Here we're going to keep the letters we've been given, so let's label our sides accordingly. At this point I'm going to cross out the small y that they've used for the angle, as we don't want exactly the same letter twice in our diagram, as that might confuse us. Now this means we have to change round our letters in the cosine rule, because at the moment it's set up to find angle A. Well, we want to find angle Y, so let's replace all our A's with Y's, and then it doesn't really matter which way we swap the other letters. Let's replace the B's with X's and C's with Z's. Okay, we now have a form that we can use for our question, so let's substitute our values in again, like so. Pause it here for a second if you need to check you're happy with where all those values have come from. As before, we can work out the whole calculation on the right hand side, so we now know the value of cos y is 0.68468. To just find y, let's use the inverse cos function again. So angle y is equal to 46.8 degrees, and we're all finished. We've now covered using the cosine rule to find both angles and sides, just as we had previously with the sine rule. What our next tutorial will focus on, which is something we haven't done so far, is how you actually know which to use and when. Thanks for watching, and as always, check out the website for more resources both on this topic and plenty more besides. Bye for now.